Hey, good morning, everybody, and Facebook world, and all over YouTube, and everybody. This is Mike Price, Top Producer Series, and today I'm interviewing my good buddy Bryan Gardner. Bryan, how you doing, bud?
Doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for your time, and thanks for coming on to the program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Well, the reason I'm interviewing Bryan today, a couple of things. Number one, Bryan is in, of course, with us at EXP, and he is in our local group, Modern Agent. Which is up to about 110 or 11 agents right now. So we have a mini market center. And then in the bigger picture, he's part of our Fast Forward movement, which is just tipped over almost 5,500 agents right now. And so then our global brokerage is knocking on the door 90,000. I think we're at 88,000 agents right now. So you're in a good company with a lot of great agents. So welcome, Bryan, and appreciate you coming today, man.
Absolutely.
Well, there's big news. The big news that why you're here, the main reason, you capped. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Pretty happy about it.
That's very exciting. So I've been with Bryan through his journey since he came in 2021, and we've talked a lot of phone calls, a lot of video calls, and one of the things I really like about you, Bryan, is you are a family man, number one. Man of faith, and you are also a hard worker, and you have a lot of grit. And one of the things I've noticed about you over the last couple of years is you don't have any give up in you. You're not ever giving up. You keep pushing forward, and to be able to cap. And just so you guys know out there, if you don't know what a cap is, if you're in a brokerage that have a cap is where everybody pays a certain amount of money into their brokerage per transaction, and you want to be with a brokerage that has a cap. Like a lot of them don't. You just keep paying forever. EXP has a $16,000 cap to where Bryan has now paid in his $16,000 cap. And so he's at 100% commission for the rest of the year. And so, and Bryan also gets some free stock for an award for capping. You get $400 in free stock. You got $200 when you close your first deal when you join. So you've been a shareholder. So what does that mean to you, capping? I mean, congratulations, and let's hear about that. Tell us about the journey, how you got here, number one, to EXP, and then tell us about your journey to cap.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, capping, it feels great. It was a goal of mine this year, for obvious reasons. 100% commission going forward is a big deal. Obviously, that means a lot for my family. It means a lot for me as a provider. But how I got to EXP, I actually started part-time in real estate back in 2018 when I first got my license. I was working full-time at a family-owned local tennis shop. I'm an avid tennis player, and just kind of hit the top there. And I decided I wanted a little bit more freedom financially and schedule-wise. And so I switched I started looking into other things, and I decided I was going to start this whole jack of all trades and get some different certifications and licenses and stuff. And real estate was first on my list because I'd always had an interest in it. I had actually just recently bought my own first house, and started the course, took the test, got my license, and just kind of fell in love with it. And so I started doing it part-time for a while, and I got some advice from a friend of mine. I just needed to jump in head first and do it. So in 2020, right before COVID world shut down, I dove in head first and went full-time. But it ended up being a great year, and I just haven't looked back since. I was with Berkshire Hathaway at the time, and it was a really great fit. Got me off to a really great start. I learned a lot there. But then, as you said, I'm a family man now. I got a 17-month-old son at home and a wife to take care of as well. And so, my time and priorities changed, and I felt that I needed something a little bit different, and stumbled upon EXP and all the different benefits of being here, and as far as the freedom to kind of expand my own business and my own brand. And it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And I switched in October 2021, and I've just been living in it ever since and loving it. It's been great.
That's great, man. Well, yeah, you've been a huge asset and a contributor to our group, Modern Agent. And you're always sharing things and entertaining, helping other folks, find inspectors and different kinds of things. Anything anybody needs. We have this group with everybody, so it's Modern Agents, a Facebook group, and everybody shares and collaborates, and we share ideas and and vendors and just everything. So Bryan, capping, so you hit the cap. Now you're 100%.
Yeah.
Now the next step is icon, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so for those of you that don't know what that means, at our brokerage, when you cap and you pay in your cap and you're 100%, you get $400 of free stock. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. $400 in free stock. And now the next step is to hit icon. And so when Bryan does another 20 transactions with a $250 transaction fee on there, which is a $5,000 cap, right? Once he hits that, he becomes icon. And immediately, the day he hits it, he gets $8,000 of his cap back in company stock. So you're paying a cap in, Bryan, right?
Right.
And the value you're getting from the company is tremendous, right? You're getting all this collaboration and all access to everybody.
Absolutely.
And now they're going to give it back to you and go, here's a bunch of stock. So you can build some wealth and pay for your son's college with that. Is that right?
That's right. Pretty good feeling. Pretty good incentive, right?
It is a good incentive. And so, Bryan, tell us, you made a statement earlier, you had to change some things in your life. You got married to your lovely wife who I've met. She's wonderful. And your beautiful son. And that changes everything, right? That changes how you look at the world. Now it's like, this isn't just kind of a hobby. Like you have to do this.
Right.
How has our brokerage helped you see a plan into the future, a 2 and 3 and 5 year plan? How does that help you?
Oh my gosh, tremendously. I mean, it really does kind of feel like a family here. Modern Agent is like our own little niche family inside of the Fast Forward movement and all these other bigger groups that we're part of. But, the way that the structure is set up at EXP, it's beneficial for everyone to collaborate versus be competition. And I really feel that here, even especially with you, like, we have our weekly calls, and it's like, I never had this kind of like mentorship and relationship before. So it's like, I know that if I need help or support or something, like, it's always right there. It's just a phone call away. And it's just been absolutely tremendous for my business, especially trying to, free up time at home, because that's been a big priority for me. Is like, we've talked about, I want to be home for bedtime for my son, right? And EXP, the resources I have here and the connections I have here, I can leverage all that, and I can prioritize my family and my faith first, like I want to, and then still get the production and the results I need in my business. And it's invaluable. It really is.
Well, there's a lot of misconceptions on EXP from a lot of, and I don't really like to use the word haters, because it's not haters. I think it's just uninformed and uneducated people that really haven't really looked at the model closely.
I agree.
Because we both know if people would really look at this model closely, it is very intriguing. It is a lot up to offer. But everything is driven around production. All
Absolutely.
of it. There's no company without production. There's no stock without production, none of it. And so, we're the little engine that could. I've 3,000 agents in Georgia. I think 1,800 or 17 or 1,800 that are producing out of that, which is a little over half, which is about, the 70-30 rule, basically with all brokerages. And, doing over $2 billion, north of $2 billion a year in volume for just a little group. So production drives everything. The stock now, the portfolio you're building is going to help you pay for your son's college, right?
Right.
And or the lake house when he gets a scholarship, and then you guys don't have to pay for college. Now you can buy a lake house,
right?
Or whatever it is you want to do. But let's talk about production for a minute, since it's the driving force here. How do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10? And this is kind of a loaded question because I know the answer already. 1 to 10, like the collaboration. Let's talk about collaboration. What does that mean? A lot of people go, oh, well, I've got some people in my office that do a lot of business that help me. What does collaboration mean to you? How has it helped you, and what kind of access do you have to people?
It feels like 24/7 access. If I'm being honest, it's great. The collaboration aspect here is, to me, like, when I have people like with you, other people in the Modern Agent group, Stacy, just any other agents as well, it they truly invest their time into looking out for, you know, your success as well as you, because like you mentioned with the stock and that being a part of compensation here, it's like it's in everyone's best interest for everyone to do well and for everyone to produce, because guess what, that influences the stock price. So it's not just this face value like, oh, welcome, you know, we're part of the family and here's this course you can attend if you want to, like we may see you there. It's like this is intentional, and it is just genuine. And like I said, you know, there's the benefit behind it as well. So it is in everyone's best interest to be collaborative here.
Well, the main thing with the collaboration is, you know, with the stock, I mean, with EXP, everybody's got a financial interest. Everybody's got a vested financial interest in everyone.
Right.
And there's very few real estate companies out there that make their agents owners. Like we own the company.
Right.
There's
right.
the gentleman, Glenn Sanford, who started the thing, and then us, and we're shareholders, and we have a say in how things are operated. And I think that's great. There's no venture capital money. There's no debt. It's a debt-free company. We have a lot of cash, and it's driven by the agents. Of course, leadership makes the bigger decisions, but we are included in a lot of those decisions. And when you have financial alignment, it makes top producers open up playbooks and do things they normally wouldn't do. So if you have a, you know, former brokerage, I was with Keller Williams for 10 years, great company. I mean, I was in coaching. It was awesome. But there really was not, if you weren't in a certain production level, you couldn't get into Gary Carroll's mastermind.
Right.
And I think it's $2 million a year in GCI. Well, there's a very small amount of agents that hit that. And so here, you know, we have, you and me and everybody has the access to these agents that are doing that kind of production that would be in Gary's mastermind. We have a mastermind with them every single week.
Right.
You know, actually 8 masterminds a week that we can get into for all different kinds of things. Solo agents, lady leaders, high production, middle production, messy middle. There's all kinds of things, but we have access to those people right away. And I think that's the big difference. And I know that anybody could go anywhere and be successful, but why wouldn't you want to do it where you can be an owner and have some equity? And after a 10 or 15 year run, or 20, like you're going to have, I mean, think about what that looks like for you and your family in 20 years, right?
Oh, I know. The value added is incredible. It really is.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's only getting bigger and it's only getting better. But let me say this out loud. And you know, I get a lot of feedback when we do these. I get people that call me and or text me and email me and direct message me. None of this works if the agent, any agent, doesn't plug in. So you can go to any brokerage anywhere. And a lot of people broker hop, try to figure out, well, I'm going to go over here because I'm going to do better. If you don't plug in and do the work and take advantage of the systems and the tools at that brokerage, it doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
And you've done a very good job of that, man. You're one of those guys that gets out there and seeks. If you don't know where it is, you reach out to me or reach out to Stacy. Hey, man, where is this? How can I get in touch with this guy? What do I need to do here? And that's the kind of stuff you have to be resilient. You have to be resourceful. You have to be, you have to have a lot of grit, and you have all that. So,
and to your credit, though, I mean, y'all are available for it too. Like, I know I can get you with a phone call the second I need you, and it's great.
Always. Yeah. Unless I'm in an appointment or eating dinner with my family, I got my phone turned off dinner time.
Right. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, of course, because like you can go. What's the quote? I mean, it's, you know, you can go fast by yourself, far. I can't even remember the quote, but you can do it better with more people. Like, I like being with a group. I want to look back in 15 or 20 years and go, look what we built together. Look at this thing we built in Atlanta, Georgia, that started out with about 12 agents, 15 agents, 7 years ago. And now we're at 3,000 and we're on the way to 10,000, And so having access to the brightest minds in the business is always the secret sauce. Tell us a little bit about what your business is going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. Where do you see Bryan Gardner in 5 years? What does that look like? What does your business look like then?
5-time Icon agent.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just, like I said, with our family starting, the dynamic has kind of shifted at home. My wife is at home now. She stay at home. So production's on me, and I now have more time to work. And so I really am putting my head in and putting my head down and getting moving, trying to ramp up my production. So I just see year over year improvements and trying to, improve my business however I can through learning and through leveraging my relationships with you guys and really hitting it up with the higher ups and trying to just really grow my business and try to ramp up production, like I said. So I'm really excited for it. 3 to 5 years. It's an exciting view into the future. Obviously I like to focus on the now as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I think EXP is going to be a great tool to utilize from now until then.
Well, on the trajectory you're on now in such a short time, in basically 2 years, just a hair over 2 years, but 2.5 years maybe. Well, you joined 21, yeah.
Us came here in 2021, but yeah.
Yeah, 18 and 20. Yeah, I can't do the math that fast in my head, but you know what I mean. To be where you are now, to Cap, and be on the road to Icon, and there's a real chance you could hit Icon this year, and if not, definitely next year. That puts you in a whole nother group of, a production group for number one.
Right.
But the thing it does for your family, if you're 5-time Icon or 5-time Icon, and your son's in, elementary school, and something happens, you need to move, you can't sell the little plaques and the signs they put in the yard and say, "Hey, congratulations." Those are nice. And I think that's really nice. And I'm not saying it's not something that should be done, and everybody loves recognition, but you can't sell that. You can't pay for a trip. You can't pay for a medical expense. You can't pay for daycare. You can't pay for camp. You can't do any of that with that. And with what we have here, for doing the same production that you would do anywhere else, now you're being awarded and you're building wealth. And I think that's great, man. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean by that. Yeah, recognition is great. It does make you feel like you're part of the family and that you're, like you said, being recognized for what you're doing. But the value added here with the stock and everything else, it's like I said, it's invaluable. It really makes a huge difference for us.
Well, for those of us that aren't really stock pros, I'm not. I don't know if you are or not, but I'm not. But there is some big news that we just EXPI, the holding company, that EXP's in Verbella Software and Success Magazine and some other companies, just announced it goes live June 24th. That we've been added to the S&P 600, which is the one right under the S&P.
Right.
And so it's the brightest small cap companies, I think, the biggest small cap companies, and there's no other real estate company on that. And they're looking at cash, the liquidity, growth, market cap, things like that. So we are even more legit than we were a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But Bryan, let me ask you this: what would you tell, an agent out there? There's a lot of agents struggling right now. There's a lot of agents dropping out of the business. I mean, I think the NAR put out a report that 60,000 agents have left the business already in the last, 4 or 5 months since the beginning of the year.
Right.
And that's a lot. A lot of people get in the market when it's good and they get out when it's not good.
Yeah.
What would you tell an agent right now that's in another brokerage that may be struggling, or even in our brokerage? I don't know many that are struggling in our group, but what would you tell somebody? What's the sauce, man? What's the secret sauce? What would you say to do to get on the production train?
Well, I think we've already touched on it. It's plug in. I mean, and for that person that's struggling, maybe it's finding a new brokerage. But I think before doing that, I think you got to really go through what you're looking for, what you're looking to do with your business, what kind of, dynamic that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then figure out if where you're at fits that. And if not, find it and then plug in. Because like you said earlier, like if you just get there and you do the same old, and you're not willing to plug in and get involved and do the work, like you're going to meet the same end, right? If you're looking for big changes, or if you want to look for big differences, you need to make big changes, right? So if someone's struggling right now, I just reach out, look for that mentorship, go to the classes, get involved, and call those top producers, see what they're doing, see what their secret sauce is, and R&D, rip off and duplicate, right?
That's it.
So you figure out what they're doing well and try to, be amiable and try to, turn it into something that's your own and really kind of invest into yourself.
Well, the work follows you wherever you go.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing it here and you go here and you're not doing it, it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
you've got to put in the work.
Right.
As a business owner, you owe it to yourself and your family to take a look at all of your options. You should be, before you switch brokerages, you should interview 5 or 6. Everybody should.
Absolutely. I did the same thing.
Figure out which one's the best one and plant your flag and get to work, whichever one it is.
Right. Yeah.
It may not be EXP. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but it may not be. But find one that works. Well, Bryan, listen, man, I'm really proud to be in business with you, and I know you're really proud of your accomplishment and what you've done over there, and taking care of your family and building a platform and a foundation to where it's just going to go up from here. And we're really thrilled you're in the group, man. I'm really glad we're friends and in business with you. And to the top, brother. I mean, see you at the top, right?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mike. It means a lot, man. It really does.
All right. We'll keep grinding, ladies and gentlemen. Bryan Gardner, eXp Realty, Modern Agent Atlanta, Fast Forward Group, nationwide global brokerage. The guy's killing it. He's up and coming and really making a big splash. So, Bryan, thanks so much for your time today, man. And I hope that some people out there really get something out of this. And if you guys have a question to Bryan, how can people find you on social?
On Instagram, I'm at Bryan J. Gardner. And then on Facebook, I'm Gardner Home Realty as well.
Okay. Find him on Insta, find him on Facebook, Googling the guys out there. He's everywhere. All right, brother. Thanks, man. Have an awesome day. Appreciate your time today, buddy.
You too, Mike. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, man.